up, Instagram? We're live. Saturday morning. We got Alec here. Show you guys Alec over here. Papow.
Yeah, there we are. What's up, guys?
All right. Got your rhino. Got your Saturday rhino. And my smoothie. So we're getting ready to go submit some HOA docs. Got some stuff we picked up yesterday. Pow! Buying land, building houses and apartment buildings. We got plans for apartment complexes in here. Let's see. What we got? Yeah, we got some plans for apartment complexes in here. That's this one. Not the full set. We got some houses going up. Closed on a new lot. Some title paperwork. And we got Alec. We're going to record a little stuff about houses of the future. So if you guys want to learn about some houses of the future and what's going on, some of the same primary venture capital funds that funded Elon Musk and SpaceX and Tesla are going into a company called Cover that I'm going to be talking about. And so working on trying to get a meeting with these guys up in California right now. So we're working on some stuff, but pretty cool stuff. Hey, what's cool is the owner of this company, Cover. Is that camera rolling too?
Yeah.
So what's cool is that the owner of this company, called Cover, is extraordinarily smart, right? But he's unique in how he does stuff. You saw the guy. You wouldn't even think that he's a business guy. He just looks like a young kid that doesn't even speak like. I shouldn't say he doesn't speak well, because he speaks well. He stutters a little bit in his speech, and you could tell that there's a little bit of nerves going in front of the camera. So he even hired a third-party person to put video footage together and explain his business, because his vulnerability in front of the camera is a little bit still what I would say subpar as far as confidence, but what he's doing in the business world is astronomical. So there's a company called Cover that we've been doing a little research on, and I always like staying up on new trends. And since a lot of what we do is about buying land, building houses, one of the big things is, what does the future hold, right? Like, is it going to be multifamily? I'll show you guys a little bit of one of our multifamily builds that we're doing right now. Here's the layout of the whole project, So all that stuff in the middle, right over here, is 44 units. And then this building right here has 12 units. These units right here each have 24 units. And each of these ones here, that's one building and that's another building. It looks like 4 buildings, but it's actually one building here with a stairwell in the middle. One building here with a stairwell in the middle. And each one has 12 and 12, so that's 24 units in this one building, 24 units in this building. And then another 12 units on this building back here, and then we have 44 units going in here. So we have a couple of 2-bedrooms, most of them are 1-bedroom apartments. So real cool project on this one here. But what's really cool is, like, this company called Cover, one of the things that they're doing is they started off with a prototype, just like Elon Musk started off with the Roadster. He didn't go in and build his 4-door sedan like overnight to go out and market. He needed a small prototype that showed success. And so if you guys remember Tesla, one of the big things with Tesla is the fact that they didn't start off with a 4-door family car, 4-door sedan. They started off with something simple, and it was just a little Roadster, little 2-seater car, little Roadster, very inexpensive to build. And one of the big things was setting up the Roadster for success. And so they built a small prototype car, and then they went to market with it. Once it's proved its success, then they went into the 4-door sedan. Just like SpaceX, they went in and they built the Falcon 1. The Falcon 1 was like the Roadster. It was a smaller version of SpaceX, of the real ship that went into space. And they launched that. They showed its success, and once it showed its success, then they went ahead and built the ship that they actually launched into space. And so same thing is what Cover's doing. So Cover started out with these little modular type builds, and it's all prefab. And so when you talk about modular building, this isn't something that's new, right? Like there's modular homes. Problem is that you get into modular homes and you get into like mobile homes. They're not considered real estate. They go off of title laws like an automobile. And so one of the big things with real estate that's on tires is that most mortgage companies don't want to mortgage that stuff. So you have to put it either on a permanent foundation or you have to qualify for a loan as if it was an automobile. And so there's expense in doing that. And that's been the thing that's hindered mobile homes for so many years. Prefab, as far as going in and doing vertical erection with prefabricated buildings, is that most builders don't know how to erect prefab. And so what I found going in and doing prefabricated building, every time we've went out and we've priced it, the whole theory behind it was to go out and have a vertical build that, yes, it costs more to manufacture within a factory or a warehouse, but once you got to the job site, it goes up extremely fast. Problem is if there's not enough contractors out there that understand how to go out and erect that stuff fast, they bid the project with labor conservative as if they were doing a traditional build. So what we found is that there wasn't a lot of labor savings because of the conservative nature that contractors had, being that they didn't have crews that knew how to do the vertical erection on this stuff. And so hence it landed up being so substantially more expensive that it would kill the viability of any given project. So what's cool about Cover is they're doing a lot of plasma cut stuff, so they can get this stuff done to almost perfection. And they didn't go out and they're not building big, massive mansions with it. He started off with a 100 square foot prototype where he actually housed his office, and they learned more from that one little prototype than they did doing all of the vertical erection that they're doing now through the company. And so these guys caught my eye. In fact, we're working on going up to California, sitting down with these guys and finding out a little bit more about what they're doing, and finding out how, with the people that we're working with, if Cover could be a means of vertical erection of houses that could still be financially viable by utilizing their system. Now, we don't know that that's the case yet. What we're trying to do is underwrite and figure that out now, and see if there's a potential partnership there where we say, hey, look, if we have 300 people that are working with us learning how to buy land, build houses, and let's say each one of these people is doing on average of 2 builds a year, and we're going out and we're doing 20 or 30 of our own builds a year, and so we're going out and we have 600 to 800 of these vertically being erected across the country. Can we get these down to a price point that'll still give the same profitability that they would make building traditionally? And so that's one of the meetings that we're setting up to have with these guys, and it's really cool. So he went from this 100 square foot modular build in the factory to doing little ADUs. So they're houses that you have a pre-existing dwelling and you do like a mother-in-law's quarters or a garage or something on site. And so they started building out little ADUs and selling them to be able to. That was like the Tesla Roadster, testing out their business model, seeing what it takes to be able to go out and revolutionize the future as far as prefab and vertical construction. And if you guys haven't heard about this stuff yet, I'll tell you guys that it's the wave of the future. There's going to be a lot of what's happening in the automobile industry is going to happen in the house industry. In the housing industry, and it's just a matter of time. With plasma cutting, computers, software, technology, it's just a matter of time. Like this gentleman named Alexis, he's the owner. If he can master the production of this, now they're getting into larger builds. So they're building vertical construction in regards to warehouses, apartment complexes, full custom homes now, and so they're just getting into that right now. And so one of the big things is, okay, he's on the forefront of something big. And so when this was presented to me, I sat back and said, okay, here's another one of these prefabricated companies that I've seen a million of these. And this one, what's different about Cover? What's different about this company? Well, I'll tell you guys. You guys go out today, do a little bit of research, find out a little bit about Cover. You're going to be extremely impressed on what they have going on and what they're doing. In fact, so much so that it impressed me that I'm going to set up an appointment with Alexis to go down there and meet with this gentleman and find out how a potential partnership and profitability for people that are buying land, building houses can take advantage of utilizing a company like Cover. So we don't know that Cover is going to be that company, but there's going to be a company either like Cover or something like that. Now I will tell you, I really like Cover and I like Alexis and what he's doing. And I love the fact that they're backed financially by the same investors that backed Elon Musk with Tesla. And so real cool stuff with Cover. It's going to be the wave of the future. The cost of vertical construction is very simple. These things put together like a puzzle and almost down to perfection right now. Where a lot of vertical prefab construction, you get into the field and there's a lot of variability, especially when you're using traditional construction material like lumber. You get into walls that are not quite square. You get into different corners where there's gaps and imperfections that you have to make modifications to account for. With Cover, because everything's done on software programs and it's plasma cut to fit perfectly, you can get it down to almost perfection to be able to do the erection of this stuff and with very little variables. And the materials that are being used comply with wind loads, seismic loads, so great with hurricanes, floods, mold. A lot of these products are flood proof, mold proof, and they comply with all the current energy codes and so forth and so on. And that's big because that's where we're moving. With energy codes right now, we're moving in that direction. So if you go out and you build in like California, or you build in Washington State, you need to build taking into account how much energy credits you need to take advantage of in order to get your certificate of occupancy. And if you don't comply with the energy codes and your energy credits, you don't get your certificate of occupancy, you can't sell. And so one thing is like where we're building out in California right now, we're currently experiencing 100% solar built and 100% electric built. We're using zero gas. And so that's happening. That's going to slowly start adapting across the entire country over the next few years. And so those energy codes are already available. They've already been printed on the International Building Codes, the IBC. So it's just a matter of when those municipalities actually implement making those standards quality, the standard of quality and that a status quo in those municipalities. Like California, they're already doing it. In Washington State, not quite as progressive is California. California kind of being the state that is known most popular for the hardest regulations in building, right? So they have the hardest regulations. They're on the forefront of it, and so we're experiencing that over in Palm Springs where we're building right now. But I will tell you that it's coming, and the time is near. And as that happens, our building costs are going to continue to rise. And with the increased building cost rising, it's not the builders that bear those costs. And I keep telling people this. You don't go in. I remember sitting down with Fred DeLuca when I had a chance to sit with him. For those of you guys who don't know who Fred DeLuca is, he's the founder of Subway. And as you guys, a lot of you guys know, and for those of you guys who don't know my story, when the recession hit in 2008 and I had a lot of retail office buildings that were vacant, I started opening up beauty salons and putting Subway stores in them to be able to offset my expenses. And ultimately, I just wanted the rent, right? But I had a business that had to function like a business. And so I landed up buying a bunch of Subway stores. And I was a multi-unit franchisee in southern Colorado and central New Mexico. And I was taking stores that were broken down, beat up to build a business model. I was building out an infrastructure of stores that could afford middle management and an infrastructure of employees where I had store managers, district managers, and regional managers that could run my Subway stores on my behalf, right? So I wasn't married to these stores. I was married to them anyway. So it worked, but didn't work as well as I wanted it to because of the profitability in Subway. But not the point of my story. The point of my story is that when I sat down with Fred DeLuca, he came down just to specifically visit and meet with me because he wanted to know how I was taking stores that were 13 years old, never did more than $4,000, $5,000 a week in revenue, and how I was taking them to $9,000 a week in less than 60 days of ownership of these stores. And so I went on to explain to him, and that's for another video that Alec actually has, and I'll explain that in a different video. You guys got to subscribe, watch, and follow in order to get that content information. But that's in another video we just recorded earlier this morning. But anyways, so Fred DeLuca sat down. I said, at the time, they were talking about minimum wage going up to like $15 an hour federally nationwide, right? And each local municipality has to afford that. And I said, as labor rises, how are we going to do the $5 foot long and, you know, all these promos that you have? And he said, Jerome, I opened up when a single sub only cost 69 cents. And that was back in the 60s, right? In the late 60s is when Fred DeLuca opened up his first Subway with his business partner named Pete. And he said since then, we've obviously have seen a lot of appreciation in labor, and we just continue to raise the price to go along with that. So hence, point being is that along with energy codes and building costs increasing, lumber going up, and everything that's happening out there right now in regards to appreciation of products, services, and inflation, people think that we, the builders, we, the developers, bear the cost of that out of our profits. That's wrong. What most people don't realize is that they are bearing the cost of those expenses as the end consumer. And so as the rising costs of construction go up and these energy codes get implemented and the cost to build goes up, it's not the D.R. Hortons of the world. It's not the Toll Brothers of the world. It's not the LGI Homes of the world. It's not these publicly traded builders that bear out of their profits the expense of this. It's the end buyer. So those of you guys, those of you who are consumers, buying a house for your family, buying a house for yourself, buying a house for your retirement, whatever it is, you are and will be bearing those costs as things change and evolve over the course of time. So just like cover, as this starts to evolve, the one who wins is the one that can do it most cost effectively to make the builder keep their return on investments either greater or equal to what they're currently doing. And so as builders have their costs plateau to either what they're doing now or slightly go up, the person who could do prefab the best to make that profitability work, they win. And so the point being is that's why I like cover, is because it seems to me that out of all the crap that I've seen out there, and I shouldn't even say it that way, it's not crap, because there's some incredible companies. In fact, there's a company called Nexi that's up north just outside of in BC, just over the northern border there in Canada and British Columbia, it has my attention as well. Problem is that, again, to bring the shipment of prefab from Canada to the United States without manufacturing happening right here in the United States, freight is an issue and expense. Second thing that's an issue is labor again. How do we erect this stuff? How do we get the right companies to get these big cranes to erect these big vertical walls that are manufactured and brought in on semi-trucks flat, and then bring them and erect them, put them together like a puzzle, and make them go? And so there's still an expense issue. Since Cover's local, they're based out of California, they are manufacturing out of California, these big massive warehouses, they can take them on a semi-truck. And see, one of the big things like mobile homes is they build the house in a warehouse, then they have to put it on a truck, then they have to get it on a road to get there. Now, there's rules and regulations on modular homes and the type of trucks that can go on certain residential roads. So the problem with modular building in a factory, you build the entire building out, the entire building or house out in a warehouse, is that now how do you transport that thing into a residential area? So as you guys know, as well as I do, when you have modular builds, they're mostly in rural areas. So mobile homes are mostly in rural areas. You don't see a lot of inner city mobile home developments because you can't transport those mobile homes from the manufacturing place where they're warehoused and built into the city, because there's state DOT laws that restrict these big trucks with these wide loads to come through, tear up all the trees, tear up all the landscaping, tear up the roads and everything else along with it. There's regulations. They don't allow it. And so there'll never be inner city developments as modular building unless they can get it done in a factory where it makes sense. What I like about Cover is they can manufacture this stuff like a puzzle on a computer, and it's almost near shy of perfect. Lay them flat paneled on a truck, stack up a whole entire building or a house flat on a semi-truck, transport it super dense instead of a hollow box, and then ship it super dense out to the job site, and then they can vertically erect this anywhere. Same type of trucks that deliver your lumber packages, your trusses, any of that stuff for construction development is getting delivered by a company called Cover, and then they can vertically erect that right on site, and you can do modular build out of a factory into a real case scenario, into a real neighborhood someplace where it makes sense. And so that's what I like about Cover. And so as the rising prices happen, if Cover can get their prices right, where they can compete with current construction prices, they will win, and they have the right business model set in place right now. So very intriguing. You guys are going to want to follow and figure out what this company is doing. I'm going to be facilitating some meetings. If I get a meeting with them, I'll be flying staff out there with me to sit down, record, and bring this information to you guys so that you guys are on the forefront of what's happening, not only economically, but what's happening strategically in the housing market. And anybody who's partnered with Elon Musk is going to do well. You know, sorry to say, you know, their success breeds success, and those people, you are a direct reflection of the 5 people that you're the closest to, you're doing business with, you're married to, you're living with, and whatever that is. And so understand that that's some research that we're doing right now. I'll be hopefully having some more information out in the next 30, 60 days. This isn't something that's going to happen in the next few months, but over the next year, 2 years, that is something that will start to transpire, and you guys will start seeing a lot of that stuff. So nonetheless, I wanted to come in both to you guys as I'm recording this video for social media, and we're going to put this out and edit it, throw some logos, some pattern interruptions, make it a little bit more intriguing, interesting, and bring you guys some of the information that I did some research on. So Alexis, I'm going to tag you in this. I'm going to tag cover in this video. If you see this video, we have an outlay of hundreds of students that are learning how to buy land, build houses. Like I said, in the next, this year, 2022, we'll probably have someplace in the neighborhood of about 300 vertical builds going up between our students and ourselves. And next year, 2023, we'll probably have well over 600 to 1,000. And so I'm tagging you in this so that we can set up a meeting. And so I'm doing a direct outreach to you. You've seen this video, I'm tagging you in it, I'm tagging your company in it. I know it's not huge yet. I know you're going to see this. And so put an outreach to me, DM me, and let's set up this meeting. And I'll fly out to California on me. We'll go enjoy dinner. Any place. I'll take you out to a nice place. And let's do some business, my friend. This is something that I'm interested in finding out a lot more about. I want to sit down with you and John Coogan and Alexis. I want to sit down with you as well, and let's make this happen and see how we can partner with what we're doing with our inner circle of people and people that are buying land and building houses, and make it profitable for them, for you, and let's get this company out there. I'm impressed with what you're doing, and I'm excited to work with you.